All right, welcome back to Good Mom, everyone. Hi, Lindsay. Good to see
Hello,
you.
Sunny. So good to see you too. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, me too. And we've got a great topic today, something that, of course, Lindsay and I are personally going through now. And we
Mm,
would love to have your feedback on what you guys are going through as well. So, this is all about changing family dynamics. And what do I mean by that? So,
yeah.
as we go through life, our families change and we have to adjust. And
Yep.
sometimes those adjustments are not very comfortable. And we're probably really going to get into some of that discomfort today, Lindsay, right?
I am. I'm ready. I have so many layers I could talk about. So yes, yeah. What are you
Well,
seeing in your household, Sunny? What's
okay,
going
so
on over
right
there?
right
Yeah.
now our issue is this. So you guys know we live on the other side of the country from
From each other.
my family and my
Hmm.
husband's family. In fact, they live only a couple miles apart. We're the, people that decided to move away from our hometown. And we don't get to see them all that often. Some of the kids and I go back for the summer and we hang out. But a big part of us being able to see at least my parents was that they would come out for Christmas. Well,
Oh,
as it turns out, this year they weren't going to come out for Christmas, which is very unusual. That's another story. But they were going to come out in February, so a couple months later, and hang out with us at that time. And whenever they come out, they always stay for long periods of time because what we've been able to do in the past is have a guest bedroom that is pretty much reserved for them. We'll use it just to hang out in and whatever, but for the most part it's for my parents or
yep.
whoever else wants to come visit us, right?
Yep.
Well, we're now in a situation where my kids are getting bigger. My
Yep.
oldest son, my boys were sharing a room, right? So I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old sharing a bedroom, which is not ideal. Usually at that age, they need a little bit of space. So
Yep.
my husband and I decided that our oldest, our 15-year-old, could move into the guest bedroom, which means we no longer have a guest bedroom, which means after the conversation I had with my parents over this, they were very understanding. Okay. They
Yeah.
very, and like, you got to take care of your family. We get it. But that also means that when they come out here, they have to now get a hotel, which means instead of coming out for a month, they're probably coming out for a week.
Yeah.
It just changes everything. And like there's a grieving, like I had to go through and still am, honestly. I had to grieve that
Yep.
because, it's tough when you live far away from your family. And ever since we've been out here, which, my husband and I have been married 21 years now, they've
Wow.
come out and stayed for long periods of time. And our family is changing, right? We need more room. My son needs his own room. And so this has to happen. But it doesn't make it easy. And there's a lot of emotions that go with that, you
Boy, it
know?
sure does. And that's a really good example of how, you're in the family dynamic of aging parents and
Yeah.
aging teenage youth.
Yeah.
Everything requires more time and space with an aging teenage youth. Everything.
Yes.
From taking them to practice of whatever kind to helping them grow into the young adults that they're supposed to be. So, I love this topic because every family I know has some kind of dynamic that is changing. I lost both of my parents in the last couple of years. So I am now officially, talk about changing dynamics, the matriarch
Oh,
of
yeah.
the family. And it's like, whoa. Never did I ever think I'd be doing that before turning 60 years old. I'd
Yeah.
never even thought of it, but it is different. People expect things from me differently. I have to show up differently. So it's just, that's unique. And that also includes that I have kids that are approaching age 30 and they too are going through some changing dynamics. They're going to be moving. One
Mm,
of them, my daughter, who is married to a fabulous and wonderful husband, they are going to go to opposite coasts for a whole year, so that they can both complete some aspect of their, I'll call it their next phase of their
mm,
work life.
okay.
And, without revealing a whole lot of detail because I
Yeah.
can't,
Sure.
they are going to be,
Classified.
it is, I know, probably be shot somewhere, but they will have to go to opposite sides of the United States for a little while.
Wow.
And I was just talking with both of them over the Thanksgiving holiday, and it's rough. This is a huge change, and they are
Yeah.
grieving the fact that it was supposed to look different than it currently does. And they also can see how it will be amazing and better in maybe just another year.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's this knot hole you're going to go through to get to the other side. And they know that they're going to suck it up, buttercup, is what they
Yeah,
said,
right.
so they can get there. And we're going to make the best of it in all possible ways. Um, and it is a grieving process. It's change that
Mm.
of a magnitude that sometimes is too hard to swallow in just one afternoon. You have to kind of, oh, that's going to be different. We can't do it that way anymore. At least
Right.
not for now, you know? So I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I've been trying to focus on, I'm not saying I'm doing a very good job at this, but I'm
Mhm.
trying to focus on what we were able to accomplish for those however many years that they were able to come out and do that. I mean, that's
Right.
really special. Most people don't have, that live far away from their family, don't have their family coming out and staying for months at a time. That's
True.
not a typical thing, but
Yep.
we were able to make that work. So, that was one of the things I was talking to my mom earlier today, and she said we gave it a really good run.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it is they were
Sure.
able to be out here for Christmas and, major events and things like that, and to celebrate those times with us, to spend time with us. And so I'm trying to focus on the positive here. And at
That's
the same
great.
time,
Yeah.
I also know we won't always be out here. Now, how much longer we're going to be out here, I don't know. I would have guessed we would have moved by now. So I'm kind of like, hurry it up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Especially in light of this. I'm like, oh my goodness. But yeah, so like you said, it's for a certain period of time. It's not intended to be forever. So those are some of the bright side, like looking on the bright side.
Exactly. And I think the looking on the bright side is the absolute best way to look at it. It also will tend to create a pointer to what's the new possibility. So if grandma and grandpa are frustrated because they
Hmm.
can't stay longer, and
Yeah.
your family is frustrated because they can't stay longer and it just isn't working, then the new possibility becomes the third alternative, which is, well, what could that be?
Yeah.
What would we do if we wanted to spend months of time hanging out together? And, I've heard you talk about it. This is just an example for our listeners. But, hey, let's go get a family compound in Florida.
Hmm.
Now
Yeah.
we can have all of us in one place and we can do it differently yet again, a whole new experience. So
Yeah.
oftentimes the discomfort is the pointer to the third alternative, whatever that will
Right.
be.
Right.
And what I do know, and I'll say this probably more for my kids than for anyone else who might be listening, it's also really important to know you can't go back. There is no back. There is no, I mean, it doesn't mean you can't live in a community that you lived in before. I'm not saying that. You can, but it is never the
The
same
same. No.
because you're not the same and the
Mhm.
community's not the same. And so there is never a back. There is always a move forward, but you might end up in a place that's similar. So, for example, my daughter is moving to the Pacific Northwest, which is coincidentally where she grew up and has lived away from there now for almost 10 years.
Okay.
She is moving to the Northwest, but it's not back.
Yeah. It's
Not under
different.
any
Yeah.
circumstance. She is an entirely different human approaching age 30 than she was at age whatever 17 when she left. So
Hmm.
it's really important to know that because you might think there's a back, but there never is. There's only forward.
That's a good point because we are talking about going back home,
Mhm.
right? My
Yep.
my husband and I are from the same hometown. Like, our parents live a couple miles away from each other even to today. They still
Yep.
do.
Yep.
And you're right. Like it won't be the same as when we grew up there. I mean, there'll be familiar things, right? And
Absolutely.
familiar experiences and whatever, but it's different. You're an adult. You have kids now. That you look at towns differently. Like when I was younger, I couldn't wait to get out because for me it was a small town and I needed to go where things were bigger and brighter and full of
Absolutely.
potential. And now I crave more of, well, let's tone it down. Let's focus more on our community. Let's do things like that. But you're absolutely right. It won't be the same no matter what. It's not the same. Could be
No, and
better.
if it is the same, then you didn't grow.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can say about that is if it's exactly the same, if nothing changed, it's all the same, then you really didn't grow. And that's the hard part to realize. You know, there were several times that I moved from Washington to California, Washington to Florida. You know, I have moved a couple of different times, and I can tell you that each time that I return to Washington, and I still go back for a couple of months at a time, it's never the same because I am constantly changing. And my friends will even say that, you know, it's like, why? You've been gone for 3 months and you're totally different. I'm like, well, that's part of the process of putting yourself in new environments and growing consistently. You know, if you stay in the same stuckedness, it does tend to limit us a little bit. And that's true for kids. It's why college is so important. If for no other reason, you know, skip the education part, the part that they're going to get, send them off to somewhere, put them with a backpack to Nepal. That's collegiate. You know, they need an experience to get out of completely the environment that they've been in so that they can find what it is that makes them flourish and thrive. And you know, this whole thing, changing family dynamics, just get used to it, right? It's like, oh, it's going to happen. My daughter and son-in-law may end up with kids. They have a dog now. So now, you know, I'm practicing grandma with a grand dog. But I'll tell you, it's so exciting to think about, oh, there's another changing dynamic. You know, my bonus daughter has a I call him my bonus grandson. I'm his banana. And I love it. You know, it's like having an all new dynamic of fun things you get to do with a new human in this dynamic called family. You know, so it's so fun.
Yeah, just when you get used to stuff, it'll change.
Exactly. So, you know, your two sons may end up in separate rooms for now, and there may come a time where they go, dang, I kind of miss it when you're in my room, you know, or there will come a time where the oldest will move off to college and then the youngest will say, oh, can I have his room now? You know, I mean, all the things, all those things happen in a changing family, and it's so much fun. It's like you said, look for the good. Be thankful and grateful for all the experiences that have been generated up until now. You know, it's going to change again. Yay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we want to know from you guys what changing dynamics you have going on in your house. What have you been through? What are you currently going through? What do you see on the horizon? Let's get together. Let's support each other. So one of the best ways you can connect with us is through our YouTube channel. So Lindsay and I are trying to grow this. We've got big plans for next year to keep going live on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to go ahead and put up a nifty little graphic for you guys here.
And
so here you
go. We chose YouTube because we figured it was the one place that most of you moms are already hanging out. And you're either a mom wannabe, or you are a mom, or you're, you know, a grandma. Whatever kind of mom you are, we want to hear from you because we know you're going through it. And we're here for you, and we'd love to hang out with you. So join us at YouTube.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye,
Thank
Lindsay.
you. Bye.